What do you say we put this big block Chevy short block together? No sense going over exactly where we left off with it. We've done that previously. I'm just sliding the cam in here now. Because the thing's been run already, it was just simply a refresh. Although we treated it as a full rebuild. The engine locked up, but it wasn't anything to do with any of the rotating assembly. It was simply a matter the heads were machined wrong, the water-cooled guides leaked water into the chamber and locked it up. So we remachined the block, all that, but the cam's a nice cam. It had already been broken in. We're just reassembling it with the existing cam. We're using a good quality assembly lube on it. Oiling our seal really good. We're not going with the whole grease thing because, well, the thing will be running within 24 hours. We're gonna run it on our stand, make sure we have no issues for the poor customer this time. They paid a lot of money for this engine, and I don't know who built it, and it doesn't really matter. It was just, oh, they just overlooked something. We all make mistakes, right? I don't think it was a malicious thing. I don't think they have bad work habits or unreputable. It has really nice parts in it and all that stuff. It's just, you know, sometimes stuff happens, right? Like I mentioned in the previous video, this thing's been ground 2020. We checked all our clearances. Everything was fine. Well, not quite fine. We had to mix and match our bearings a little bit. You offset our seal. Lube our bolts with the appropriate thread lube. We always put a little bit of sealer on here. We're going to check our end plate first. I fully suspect we're going to have to do some adjusting with that. If not, we get lucky and we don't have to, we'll pull it off and put a little bit of sealant in there. Remember, we always seat them a little bit first. We never seat them with our bolt. If that's hung up on the registry, it's a very good way to crack a main cap. We're going to work our crank back and forth a couple times. Find a good spot to pry it forward and give her a smack. It's a nice soft dead blow hammer. That seats the rear cap or the rear thrust surface. We'll torque her down. Back and forth. And we'll see if we have any end play. I fully suspect that we won't. Lately it seems like all the bearings don't seem to have end play for some reason. Looks like we have end play. We have 6-thou end play. Well, isn't that a pleasant surprise? Okay. Last few ones I've done, I've had to dress down the thrust bearing. Well, no, I wish I had put in some sealant on that. All right. Oh, it seems to be everybody's got their own opinion on how to do stuff. I'm not saying anybody's right or anybody's wrong. I'm just showing you how I do it, what works for me. A lot of people like to put silicone around the back of the seal. I honestly believe that that's proper and clean. That flange, there's no need for it. I think it can create a leak. I know a lot of people like to bring, I always put it here so the oil doesn't seep under the cap. Some people like to put it on the actual edges of the seal. I think that's very bad, because if it goes down into the seal surface and it hardens there, you're going to have a gap. It's going to leak. I just put some there. I don't use silicone. Again, I think silicone's bad because it dries hard. Or bad for that, I mean. Sorry, not bad. It dries hard. And then if anything moves around the least little bit, it's going to develop a leak. I just put a little bit of that and I'll bring it out to that seal. I won't put it on that seal. Just a thin little bit. Just like that. So the oil can't seep through underneath the cap. And we'll just leave them loose so we can seat that rear flange. Get the rest of the caps on. See, we had to touch up the balance just a little bit. They'd done a pretty good job. I think we were out 2 grams maybe is all. That was very, very close. Definitely well within ideal spec. It's just, I had it on the machine anyways. I wanted to check the balance because I was unsure about a few things. So I just trued it up, made it dead on. Square it up. I'm not tightening them down right now. Just snugging them up, making sure they're seated in the registry. Again, we just kind of square it up. And then seat it. Now, just like before, we're going to seat that flange, the thrust bearing flange. And you always want to have it, you always want to drive it forward when you're seating that flange, because that's the way the crank is driven. It moves forward. So you want the two back halves of the thrust flange aligned, so both halves of it are touching the crank. We're gonna torque that back cap, and then we'll double check our play, make sure we're in spec. There we are, 6 thou. I don't know if you can see that on the camera or not. Okay. Now we're gonna just torque that all down, and our crank is installed. We'd already done the back ones. Okay, we're going to take my red marker now. I'm going to put one dot on each of our bolts so I know that I've torqued that once. We're going to come back and do it a second time before we're done. I'm also going to put a mark on each one of these, just so I can verify to myself later on if I say, oh gee, did I do this or that they are numbered. 1, 2, 3, 4, obviously 5, and that they're pointing in the right direction. And that should just turn. There should be no tight spots. It should be just totally Very little. If your clearances are right, your line hone is spot on. Just like that.